देख रहे हैं अवाम के उठाए गए सवालात, हालत हाजरा पर तबसरों, तज्जियों, खबरों पर मुहित प्रोग्राम न्यूज़ लाइन रिदा सैफी के साथ।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मैं हूँ रिदा सैफी। नाज़रीन, न्यूज़ लाइन रिदा सैफी के खुसूसी प्रोग्राम में आज आपके सामने हाजिर खिदमत है। बात करेंगे पाकिस्तान और जर्मनी के सफारती ताल्लुकात की, जो कि 70 साल पूरा होने पर दोनों मुल्कों के हालात का मवाजना करके अगर मुस्तकबिल के लिए कई सबक हासिल करने की बात की जाए तो किए जा सकते हैं। जंगें जर्मनी में भी लड़ी हैं, पाकिस्तान ने भी, लेकिन जर्मनी ने दूसरी आलमी जंग के बाद तारीख के मलबे को एक तरफ रखकर अपने आप को जिस तरह आलमी तकाज़ों के साथ हम आहंग किया और तरक्की का जो सफर तय किया है उसको ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है। जर्मन माशरे में इंसानी हुकूक के एहतराम, जमहूरी रिवायात की पासदारी, सकावती तनों और मुआशी लिबरलिज्म को भी देखना चाहिए। बाज माहिरीन के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान में तवानाई के बुहरान से निमटने में भी जर्मनी का मॉडल मददगार साबित हो सकता है। कुछ लोगों का मानना है कि जर्मन मुआशरे में साइंस, इल्म, टेक्नोलॉजी और टेक्निकल ट्रेनिंग को जो मकाम हासिल है उसको भी नजरअंदाज नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान जर्मन टेक्नोलॉजी के तबादले से फायदा उठाना चाहता है, इसके लिए मतलूबा तैयारी की तरफ पेशरफ्त होनी चाहिए। जर्मनी पाकिस्तान का एक अहम तिजारती पार्टनर भी है और दोनों मुल्कों का तिजारती हजम तकरीबन 3 अरब यूरो से भी जायद है। इसी तरह जर्मनी ने सनती नुमाइशों को कारोबारी तरक्की के लिए जैसे इस्तेमाल किया है वो भी एक बेहतर मॉडल है। इसी तरह जर्मनी के इंजीनियरिंग सेक्टर की अगर बात करें तो उससे जुड़ी सनती तरक्की पर भी नजर रखने से बाहिमी ताउन की नई राहें खुल सकती हैं। साथ ही साथ पाकिस्तान इस वक्त जिस माशी मुश्किल का शिकार है, मुल्क को मुख्तलिफ ममालिक से देरीना ताल्लुकात की जरूरत भी है। तरक्की याफ्ता ममालिक के साथ पाकिस्तान को अपने ताल्लुकात मजीद बेहतर बनाने होंगे और इनसे सीखना होगा कि मुश्किल हालात में कौन सी मुल्क की जो पॉलिसियां हैं वो अगर लेकर चली जाए तो तरक्की की जानिब सफर तय किया जा सकता है। इसकी सबसे बड़ी मिसाल यही है, यानी कि जर्मनी है। और जर्मनी जो दूसरी जंग अजीम के बाद मुकम्मल तौर पर कहा जाता है कि तबाह हो चुका था, आज दुनिया की तीसरी बड़ी सबसे मईशत का मुल्क उभर कर सामने आया है। और आज हम जर्मनी और पाकिस्तान के हवाले से जो सफारती ताल्लुकात हैं उस पर बात करेंगे। साथ ही साथ जो जिस तरह से मैंने भी आपको बताया कि जर्मन के मॉडल के हवाले से उसमें क्या क्या चीज़ें हैं जिनको हम परस्यू कर सकते हैं, और जर्मनी में और पाकिस्तान के साथ जो इस वक्त ताल्लुकात है और जो प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं वो क्या हो रहे हैं, उन सब पे बात करेंगे। तो कराची में जो जर्मन कॉन्सुलेट है, यानी कि जर्मन कौंसल खाना जिसको कहते हैं, उसमें जो जर्मनी के कौंसल जनरल हैं डॉक्टर रुदिगर लॉर्ड्स, उनके साथ आज का प्रोग्राम हमारा है और उनसे बात करेंगे। और उन्हीं के साथ मैं यहाँ मौजूद हूँ और आप देख रहे हैं बैकग्राउंड चेंज है, आज मेरा स्टूडियो में हम नहीं हैं, तो उनसे बात करेंगे और उनसे जानेंगे कि आखिरकार वो कैसे देख रहे हैं पाकिस्तान और जर्मनी के ताल्लुकात को। तो लेट्स वेलकम हिम। थैंक यू सो वेरी मच डॉक्टर रुदिगर लॉर्ड्स एंड वेलकम टू आवर प्रोग्राम।
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to my office. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so very much for inviting us. And first of all, I would like to know, as you are here since more than a year now, so how you see Pakistan and German diplomatic ties, and so far how you are enjoying here being in Karachi.
Well, thank you very much. It's nearly 2 years that we have been here now. And on a personal level, I enjoy it very much. I'm here with my family. I enjoy in particular that people are very warm and hospitable. So we have really many friends here. It's a very nice, open atmosphere, and we enjoy every day here. When you ask about diplomatic relations, you know, it's more than 70 years. Pakistan, its independence in 1947. After the war, Germany was re-established, so to say, in 1949. So very briefly after that, we established diplomatic relations. Pakistan was one of our first partners in the world. And ever since, I think we have had excellent relations in many different fields.
Yeah, that's you're right. That's I've mentioned in my intro in Urdu as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's very nice to hear, Excellency. I mean, this is for of course, our viewers as well. We would really like to know that how did Germany plan their economic policy after World War II? Because as we have seen now, the Germany's economy is coming along in a most dynamic economies in the world, and we have seen that now it's come in the very developed countries. So what are those things, and what are those measures actually you have taken, and after we can say that economic policies have become this much good and we can learn from them? Yeah.
Well, I think after the Second World War, Germany could build on a long history of economic strengths and experience. So we didn't have to start from the scratch, even if the country was destroyed. One key element, I think, was to rebuild quickly the infrastructure with help of some friends, some foreign friends, of course. Infrastructure, I think, was a key element. But then, of course, everything has to do with education. I think education is key, vocational training is key, and there we have had basically a history of centuries in that culture to train people. I think that's a key element to reestablish. And well, in addition, I think some soft factors, so to say, like a certain attitude to hard work and discipline, that probably also.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, these are the key factors which we really understand. Secondly, on the another hand, how do you see the cultural differences as well? Because as you are here since like 2 years between the German and Pakistan cultures, what are the basic things which you would like to highlight, like the differences between both the cultures? Yeah.
Now, first, when you are in many different countries, you learn that people all over the world share most things. Everyone wants to have a good life for their kids, wants to have a better life for their children, wants to have education, wants to have safety, health, and so on. When you ask about differences, I think that the strength of Pakistan is that, I would say, social cohesion. People come together, meet each other. It's very easy to get into contact with people here. People are very communicative and so. And that goes through the ages. I was recently at a birthday of someone who turned 80 years, and this woman had a whole group of, say, 150 people, but many the same age. So that group stayed together all the life to come together for festivities, for events, and so that was very nice to see. Western society tend to be very individualistic. That has its advantages, of course. You can, up to a point, do what you want. But what I appreciate here very much is, people come together. As humans, we are social beings, and that's very nice to see here.
And what is the basic, what is the one thing which fascinates you here in our culture? And I also like to know now, as you are here since long, so what is your favorite food, Pakistani food, like?
The favorite food is perhaps surprising. It's very simple. It's a simple dal.
Dal?
I like dal. I love dal.
Okay. Which one, yellow or black?
The yellow one. I like in particular the yellow one.
Okay.
And there, I was surprised. If you go to the villages, we went to a village close to Mirpukhas a while ago, and we got excellent food there. Yeah. So people appreciate good food very much here. At the beginning, I must admit, I thought it's a bit spicy. But after a while, now it's a bit the opposite. I go back to my home country and start eating some German dishes, and I always wonder, has the cook forgotten the spices? So you get used to it that much.
That's really cool. And so have you, visited the other parts of Pakistan as well? So you must try the different dishes, like there are some Punjabi food, there's some, Balochi food, some different kinds of food. So out of all of them, you like dal?
I like dal very much. I like the bread. Of course, naan. I like
Naan, okay.
simply naan.
Yeah.
But now I forgot the name. The paratha. Paratha I like very much. My son likes very much nahari and biryani.
Nihari and biryani.
Yeah, he loves it.
Oh
He
my,
loves that. Yeah.
that's something which is very typical and desi thing in Pakistanis because they always love nihari and biryani.
Yeah.
Okay, so Your Excellency, as we know these days that there is an energy crisis in Pakistan, and how do you see that? What are the key areas where Germany sees the potential for increased collaboration with Pakistan, particularly in renewable energy and technology sectors, and what are those key points which we learn from Germany to overcome these crises?
I think in particular, as you said, it's about renewables. This country has excellent conditions for all kinds of renewables, from solar power to wind energy to hydropower. And I think there's much more room to elaborate, to work on that, to do more on that. There's this very impressive wind corridor, as they call it, pretty close to Karachi.
Yeah.
I think that's a good start to show what wind energy can do. And I always say if a country like Germany with our climatic conditions can get nowadays a significant amount of its energy from solar, how much more could be done here? I think that's really a way forward to focus on renewables.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Apart from it, if we talk about the climate change as well, as we have seen that there's a very big shift and change in the climate in all regions, almost particularly in different parts of the world. And I have myself seen so many climate issues in other countries as well. The last year I was covering that Turkey's unfortunate biggest earthquake as well. And in Pakistan we had seen floods, the worst floods of the year we have seen in Pakistan as well, in Balochistan, especially in Sindh. So even Germany really helped us out in that as well, in the terms of some aids and grants and other, things. So how do you see this climate change overall in the world? And as we are shifting, we are changing, the world is evolving. How you see it? What is your perspective as a country? I mean, as a Germany, and what are your suggestions to the world? Then how we can control this all calamities and these all things? Yes.
Climate change obviously is a real global challenge. No country can solve it alone, and it affects really everyone. You see that in my country, when I grew up in the northern parts of our country, in summer you had perhaps temperatures of 25 degrees when it was very hot.
Yeah.
Now you get easily up to 40 degrees in summers. So that's a real change in a very small period, in a generation basically. And you have experienced that here. When I came here 2 years ago, I still saw, driving through the province, through interior Sindh, these floodings till the horizon.
Yes.
So it's really a problem that affects all of us. Large parts of the globe might not be habitable anymore if you don't do anything. So we really have to come together as a global community to try to reduce greenhouse gases, and we really have to do that urgent because we owe it to the future generations. Obviously here, one element is to fight the consequences, to prevent floodings or so up to a point, but this is more fighting against the results of something that actually should not happen at all. It's not too late, I think, but it's high time that we all get very serious about it.
What overall you see the world can take initiatives or bring, measures for control this climate change? Just because, as we have seen, the carbon dioxide gases and the greenhouse gases are emitting so fast these days in the whole world. And this is not an issue about Pakistan or but we are affecting from this kind of changes because the other countries who are involved in all bringing these type of things, they should realize. What do you say, and how we can overcome on it?
No, Pakistan, of course, as a country, is not responsible. If you see the percentage of Pakistan's
it's only 1%.
Contribution is extremely low, and Pakistan, unfortunately, suffers very much. Now, we have in the world to reduce the emission of carbon dioxide. So that's a question how we organize industrial production. Of course, very much we are talking about industrialized countries. It's a question to quickly go to electric vehicles, to quickly come away from coal energy, from fossil fuels. Also to reduce the overall energy output. It's a question of limiting also unnecessary air travel, for example. It's also a question to reduce our meat consumption because that is linked to the emissions that come from animals or so also contribute to that. So it's a whole bunch of things actually we have to address. But that has to happen quickly.
Global warming is also a very big issue.
We talk now about 1.5 degrees in addition, which sounds little, but when you think what that means in terms of increase, for example, of the ocean levels or so, and in particular a city like Karachi, which is directly at the Arabian Sea or so.
You're right. So नाज़रीन, गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी है. एक यहाँ पे हम ब्रेक की तरफ भी जाएंगे. So short commercial break है, इसके जब जाना है इसके बाद वापस आते हैं. Stay tuned. वेलकम बैक नाज़रीन. और ब्रेक पे जाने से पहले जी हम डॉक्टर रुदिगर लॉर्ड्स के साथ बात कर रहे हैं जो कि कौंसल जनरल है जर्मनी के कराची में तैनात, और पाकिस्तान और जर्मनी के माबैन जो इस वक्त ताल्लुकात हैं और ख़ास तौर पे दुनिया में जो इस वक्त सूरत हाल बनी हुई है इसके ऊपर गुफ्तगू हो रही है. एंड आज मुझे पता है कि जी बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स भी बैठे हुए हमारा प्रोग्राम देख रहे होंगे और वो बहुत ज़्यादा बेचैनी के साथ देख रहे हैं क्योंकि हमने बात करनी है जो जर्मन अपॉर्चुनिटी कार्ड एक इस वक्त इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है उसके हवाले से भी आज हम जब क्योंकि देख रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स के बहुत सारे क्वेरीज भी आ रहे थे मेरे पास भी, पर्सनली भी, हमारी टीम के पास. तो हम जब बात करें और इस पर बात ना करें ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है. तो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट भी. हमें पता है कि जर्मन हुकूमत ने मुल्क को ये जो दरपेश मुलाजमीन और हुनरमंद कारीगरों की कमी पूरी करने के लिए जो 1 जून से एक अपॉर्चुनिटी कार्ड यानी कि मौका कार्ड का इजरा शुरू कर दिया है, जिसके बाद अब गैर यूरोपीय अफराद के लिए भी जर्मनी में कानूनी तौर पर काम करना कदरे आसान होगा. और जो कि जर्मनी को एक तवील अरसे से मुलाजमीन की कमी का सामना भी था जिससे पैदावार मुतासर होती थी, तो अब जर्मनी अपनी इमिग्रेशन पॉलिसियों में भी तब्दीली ला रहा है जिसके बायस जो गैर यूरोपीय अफराद हैं उनके लिए जर्मनी जाना पहले से आसान है और उसके बहुत सारे मौक़े भी मिल रहे हैं. तो इस तनाजुर में जो ये कार्ड है यानी कि जर्मन अपॉर्चुनिटी कार्ड या मौका कार्ड जिसका इजरा किया गया इसके ऊपर भी मैं बात करती हूँ. सो एक्सेलेंसी, एज वी नो दैट जर्मनी हैज़ इंट्रोड्यूस्ड, वी कैन से लॉन्च द जर्मन अपॉर्चुनिटी कार्ड रिसेंटली. सो there are a lot of students, there are a lot of people who come to us as well and send us queries as well. Sometimes we're asking, okay, how will this work and what is this, and just tell us. So for those viewers and especially for students and for people who are unemployed, who want to skilled people who want to go technical sound people, so for them viewers, please explain what is this German opportunity card and how it works.
Yeah, the background is that Germany has an aging population. We have a median age of 45. Pakistan has a median age of 20.
Yeah.
So it's a very different challenge that we have. And having an aging population means that there's a lack of skilled labor. We need every year, over the next year, something like 400,000 young people who come to our country. And of course, as other countries, we try to steer the process, to really have those people coming whom we need for this kind of labor. So that's where the idea was born of this opportunity card. And it is a system like in other countries that have a high degree of immigration, where you get some points for certain things when you apply, like links to Germany, but or German language skills. But very key is, I think, the level of professional training. So it should be some training which is equivalent, which is comparable, and some experience in that field, and then I think the opportunities are really there.
Yeah. So what are the suggestions you give to the people who are applying for this opportunity card?
Well, first of all, to approach that in a positive way. So many people think this is, at the end of the day, very difficult and not possible, and that's not true. In that sense, we really like to have qualified young people in our country. Don't be deterred by formalities or so. Of course, it is a difficult process and so on, but it shouldn't be that difficult. Try to learn the language. I think that's important. We have Goethe Institute here, but you can nowadays also easily learn languages online or so. So I think, but that's important. But it's not only because it helps you to get permission to get to Germany, but also once you are there, you will need the language. So I think that's important. But yeah, I can only repeat myself. We really would like to have qualified young people to come to our country.
That sounds really cool. Having said that, coming to that education system as well, you all earlier mentioned in the first second of my question as well about the key factors of your economic stability and position in the country as well. One of the key factors is about focusing on the education, and education is the key to the gate of the success. We always know this. So Germany's education system is considered the best education system in the world, actually. So how can Pakistani students benefit from this education system? And at the same time, so many people are actually applying these days, and how can they effectively get the appointments as well, because mainly so many times the students come up and they say that we're really trying hard to go, and sometimes we get the admission as well, but later on the visa process and all these queries they have. So how you explain this all?
Well, we have currently about 4,000 Pakistani students in Germany.
Yeah. And
the number is increasing rapidly, which is very good and very nice. We like that. That brings sometimes challenges to give an appointment on due time to everyone. We have a policy here in the consulate to have two priorities for visa appointments. One is business, and the other is a student's visa. So I would say, from my experience, the vast majority of students really get their appointment on time. I can assure you we do our best to bring everyone in. Currently, we sometimes have some impasses. That is true, because the numbers have been increasing very much. But please try, if you have difficulties, try again and again. At some point, I think you will make it. And as I said before, we have a strong interest to have young people in our country. I think for studying, Germany is an excellent place, simply also because we really don't have any additional fees for international students. If you go to public universities in Germany, it's basically for free. You have to prove language knowledge when you apply, and you have to prove a certain amount of financial resources that is necessary.
Right. So you've mentioned that this is on a lighter note, that you have mentioned that you prefer the business visas and student visas, but you forgot the media as well.
Oh, sorry.
Because
that's of course the third priority is the media.
In Pakistan and Germany, the major common thing what I have observed is also that in Germany as well, the media, the field of media, you really appreciate that as well over there, and in Pakistan as well, as you have seen, we call the fifth pillar, the fourth pillar of state media work in that way. So the DW is very famous in overall in the world, and now we have DW Urdu as well here in Pakistan. So the media people, and especially the journalists, they also always seek to go to Germany for different programs and fellowship programs and other programs. So on a lighter note, I said that you forgot the media.
I will have an additional look on the media over the next time.
So Excellency, now how you see the trade, if we talk about now trade volume, it's very important now, the B2B links and linkages and the connections we have these days. And of course, I have observed this, that you are also focusing on women empowerment as well these days very much. So many initiatives you have brought since you are here, and you're taking very keen interest in that as well. So if we talk about the trade volume of Germany in Pakistan, which is more than 3 billion euros, that is a good number. So, but still, we have so much potential. Like there are a lot of sectors in which we're still having some space. So in which sectors you think and you see that we can increase or augment this volume?
One thing is the trade going from Pakistan to Germany, and one obviously from Germany to Pakistan. When it comes to Pakistani exports, we stand right now about 85% of exports are the textile sector. And that is wonderful. If you go to some German department store and buy some textile, home textile, but also other things, it's very likely that it is produced in Pakistan. That is wonderful, this highly competitive textile sector, but I always say Pakistan has much more to offer, more to offer. There are opportunities which I would see in agriculture. There could be much more that is delivered from Pakistan to Germany in agriculture. I see a very interesting emerging pharmaceutical sector. Which one is often surprised if one goes to companies that produce pharmaceutical products or even surgical instruments. That's high tech, really a very impressive level. So I think that can be broadened. So these are already two sectors, I think, which are very important.
Yes, exactly. So. We have talked about the economy and other things as well. Now moving forward, how you see that Germany can work with Pakistan to combat terrorism and violent extremism, both bilaterally and through international platforms? Because you see the terrorism is also the major concern these days in the whole world.
Now, obviously, that cooperation is key. We share the same interests to combat this kind of terrorism. We had a horrible terrorist attack only over the weekend in one German city, for which ISIS claimed responsibility. And I think it endangers the foundations of all of our societies. And this exchange, how to combat terrorism, how to exchange information, I think that will be further intensified, because also terrorism is a global phenomenon, and global terrorism works together. So to combat terrorism, you have to work closely together.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, you see, with recently these days, with the rising global concerns over migration, how does Germany balance humanitarian obligations with national security concerns?
Yeah,
So very important.
it's a constant challenge, you know, that with the refugee crisis back in 2015 in what we call the Middle East, we took in more than 1 million people coming from Syria. And I think as a country, I feel proud that we did that, to really have a humanitarian answer to a real very severe and serious crisis for people in need and people suffering. And yes, at the same time, bringing in people whom you don't know who it is has a security element. So it's something that you only constantly can try to balance, to try also to improve through global cooperation or bilateral cooperation the tools that you have to check who is coming. And I think one element is that we need in the world some organized process of migration to avoid something like we have seen in 2015, people coming from the Middle East to Europe, but also these horrible scenes that we see when people come to Africa, to Europe, risking their lives or so. We have to open ways to do it in a legal way. And if we do it in a legal way, I think also that's a great way to combat this risk of bringing in people whom you don't want.
So, what were the particular steps you have taken for settling the refugees? Because you've seen that this problem is in Pakistan as well, because of Afghanistan. You've seen that Turkey has also faced because of Syria as well, and as you have mentioned, from Syria as well, you also have. So so many countries are actually facing this. So how you handled it?
I think we try to make sure that they have a financial basis, that they have a foundation they can live on, to really give them some professional training, to give them some opportunities to learn the language, to allow the kids to go to school in German schools and so. So I think the overall picture, I really think is positive, but of course we have seen that it's a tremendous challenge, and I fully understand that also for your country it's a tremendous challenge, and you have done an extraordinary job in addressing the problem of the neighboring country and of refugees coming, for example, from Afghanistan over the last 40 years. Pakistan has really carried a lot of burden on that, and has done also a tremendous job to do that.
Yeah, you're right. So नाज़रीन, एक ब्रेक की तरफ जाएंगे. गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला बहुत अच्छा जा रहा है और मेरा दिल नहीं कर रहा है कि मैं ब्रेक लूँ, लेकिन कमर्शियल ब्रेक आपको पता है लेनी पड़ती है. बहुत अच्छी और बहुत ही जो है ज़बरदस्त किस्म की इस वक्त कॉन्वर्जेशन जारी है डॉक्टर रुदिगर लॉर्ड्स के साथ, लेकिन यहाँ एक ब्रेक लेना है, शॉर्ट कमर्शियल ब्रेक. इसके बाद वापस आते हैं. स्टे ट्यून्ड. वेलकम बैक नाज़रीन, और बात हो रही है कराची में तैनात जर्मनी के कौंसल जनरल के साथ कौंसल खाने में, और बहुत ही जो है थॉट प्रोवोकिंग सब्जेक्ट्स पे बात हो रही है. बहुत सारी चीज़ों पे ऐसे बात हो रही है जो कि आपसे रिलेटेड है, ख़ासतौर पर वीज़ा के हवाले से हमने बात की, स्टूडेंट्स के वीज़ा के लिए और बहुत सारी चीज़ों के लिए. नाउ द वन very sensitive and very important topic which I really like to highlight, and whenever I meet with the diplomats and the people in the world, I definitely ask these questions. This is very important as an aspect as a whole, and the former Prime Minister also talked about this in the UN, and that is about Islamophobia. So Excellency, how do you see this increasing Islamophobia overall in the world? This is a major issue actually for one of the biggest population of the world, which are Muslims. So how do you see this issue, and do Germany condemn this Islamophobia, especially rising in the Europe state and other places? How do you see it?
I think religious tolerance is a key for each and every society. We live in a world where we have different religions, and of course Islam is one of the 2 or 3 major religions in the world. In Germany, we have had a strong percentage of Muslim people for the last, I would say, 60 years now, mainly since immigration from Turkey started. The percentage of Muslims in Germany by now is certainly above 5%. And I think the vast majority of people really accept this and don't have a problem at all with that. It's part of our cultural identity. We had a German president some years ago who coined the phrase, Islam is part of Germany. And I think that is very true, because we are that multi-cultural, multi-religious society with very many different elements. And of course, if we have millions of Muslim people living in our country, it's self-evident that they should have the same rights. We strongly condemn any events that show Islamophobia. There are laws against it. People would be prosecuted. And I think ask Pakistanis also living in Germany. There are about 70,000 Pakistanis living in Germany. And I would hope that they do not face this kind of problem. But no doubt, we condemn that strongly wherever it would occur.
Yeah, right. Of course, this is also very sensitivity, and I think I really appreciate this stance of the German on this. Excellency, how do you see and what is your stance on the reform of international institutions like the United Nations and others, and how can Pakistan and Germany cooperate on this front?
I think we share the belief in a rules-based global order, because we, as countries, all profit and benefit from that we have clear rules how the international order works. Pakistan certainly shares this interest. We share this interest, so I think that's a starting point. No doubt, many of these institutions mirror the world how it was some decades ago. Many of these institutions, like United Nations institutions, typically have been founded 60, 70 years ago, when the world looked very different. I think that the real challenge of the transformation is to bring these institutions closer to nowadays reality. Yeah. And that's a complicated process. We have to work on it, but I think we share this interest that we have to come and work in this direction.
In this direction, right. So, Excellency, very important project, you can say, in the region, the CPAC. How do you see the CPAC, and what are your remarks about it?
Well, I cannot comment on Pakistan's relations to other countries, but I think in general any attempt of Pakistan to cooperate with regional partners in principle is welcome and contributes to the stability in the region. If there are projects on infrastructure and other things, I think it makes a lot of sense. Pakistan has a very diversified list of partners. We are among them, but we don't see that so much as, I would say, as a competition, but something that adds to the overall picture. We, for our part, as Europeans, as Germans, would like to further increase our relations on many different fields, politically, but also economically. I think, as we discussed earlier, lots can be done.
So, Excellency, in the end, in the last, I really would like to share your views and opinions as a message to the people of Pakistan, and adding one point in it as well, those people who are like either they are students, either they are technical people, or they belong from media or any field, they want to go to Germany for a different reason or whatever. So what is your suggestion to them for when they, of course, when they apply for the visa, and what are the key suggestions you can give to them? And plus, I really would like to appreciate it if you give any message to them as they are right now watching you.
I can only repeat what I said at the National Day for Independence some days ago. Back in 1947, the Quaid-e-Azam established Pakistan as a country, and he had a vision. He had the vision of a country that provides rights, human rights, democracy to all its citizens, independent of gender, of ethnicity, of religious beliefs, of political affiliations. And I do think Pakistan has come really a long way to achieve this goal. And I can only wish you to continue on that way forward. And I wish you that this is going to happen. I'm sure it will.
Inshallah. Thank you so very much, Excellency, for your exclusive time for our program and TV channel. नाज़रीन, डॉक्टर रोतिका लॉट्स के साथ हमने आज गुफ्तगू की और बड़ी खैर हासिल गुफ्तगू रही, जिस पर उन्होंने ख़ास तौर पे पाकिस्तान के लिए भी नेक तमन्नाओं का इजहार किया और उन लोगों के लिए जो जर्मनी जाना चाहते हैं उनके लिए भी नेक तमन्नाओं का अपना इजहार किया है। इसी के साथ जी अपनी मेज़बान रदा सैफ़ी को दीजिए इजाज़त। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद।